this hand is very slow. So I kind of want to get greedy and mulligan it. And get punished for doing so. I mean, if I drew a second land, Odapek Huntmaster could reduce the cost of my dinos, but it's not enough. It's not enough to keep me in a good spot, so I'm going to mulligan once more. And this is definitely keepable. This is, and we're drawing into a Nature's Lure, put it on top. Let's get things going. Play Corrosion Verge, pass the turn. So we'll Nature's Lure, Kodama's Reach will get us an extra land in the hand. That'll put us back up the card we lost. We'll be in a better position. Yeah. Good luck. Have fun. This game we're up against Jhoira of the Gitu. So that's going to be a lot of suspending. Sometimes it can be Warp World-esque and a lot of like land destruction and chaos. A lot of the times it's just Eldrazi removal, so you get that down, you exile some cards from your hand, and make everybody's day just terrible. Next we have Alesha, who smiles at death. When it attacks, you get a creature with power 2 or less from your graveyard that's tapped and attacking. So a lot of the times you play a bunch of good creatures with powerful abilities when they're in the low power slot but high converted mana cost. You put stuff in your graveyard by discarding it. You figure out any way to abuse that ability by just paying a single 2 mana. And then we have a Atagatog. It could be a Togs. Could be. But could be something cheeky. You know, something you don't see every day with an Atagatog. That's usually, a lot of the times it's played as a I don't know what's going on commander, and we'll find out. Maze's End, maybe? In the meantime, with our Nature's Lure, we're going to grab a either Sheltered Thicket or Scattered Groves. I don't know. We got 1 red. We don't need any more red, but it doesn't hurt. So Sheltered Thicket, tapped, passing the turn. Next turn we'll play a Kodama's Reach, keep the ramp game going. Hopefully we can get further along than the Jhoira player, because that's no fun. It's just a really strong card. Very strong commander. Yep. Got some ramp going. Just some ramp. Just a little bit. And that's a Crack's Thumb. So coin flip. Which means maybe the Jhoira player isn't playing anything too degenerate. You know, it could be something a little more fun, something a little more casual. But we'll see. In the meantime, just going to stay tapped out and just kind of hang out. If anyone has anything about the channel or anything like that, since we are doing our 1-year stream to kind of celebrate and answer any questions that might come up regarding that while I play out my turn. Kodama's Reach. So grab a Plains and a play tapped, Forest in the hand, and do we want to play Cinderglade or do you just want to play a tap land? Probably just play a tap land. Don't need to pay the life. Can't really play anything else. And there's Jhoira hitting the board. So everyone's just playing things a little bit slower, but that's what this deck does. It goes very ramp heavy and expects Gishath to die a bunch, expects our high-costed dinosaurs to die a bunch and kind of deal with what's going on board. Dies to a bunch of board wipes, refills our hand, you know. It's fun. Isn't it fun? I think so. Frantic Search, tap your lands, draw 2 cards, discard 2 cards, untap your lands, and put some stuff in the graveyard. So could be a 5-color storm, could be just a 5-color graveyard synergies, could be something to do. It's plant tribal, 5-color plant tribal, anything at all. Who knows? That's a Cage Sun in the yard, so not 5-color. I'm only seeing islands so far, other than the, you know, like the garden, the way to get some mana going. Okay, so we have 6 mana. Could use 3 to crack the Crozen Verge, since we can't play our commander just yet. Cost 8. Or we can do nothing, because that's pretty much it. So we're gonna sack the Verge and grab up a couple forests and a plains. So for our forest, we're just gonna go, what are we gonna do? Temple Garden? No. And then Scatter Groves, because they're gonna come to play tapped anyway, so what does it matter? Play a brush land and tap out while playing a Sylvan Library. So leave a single mana open to be lost in the void of mana and pass the turn. Expect some coin flip shenanigans, some, you know, dies to removal going on. Alright, are we suspending during our turn? Oh, at the beginning of your upkeep, flip a coin. If you lose the flip, sacrifice Planar Chaos. Whenever a player casts a spell, flip a coin. If they lose the flip, counter that spell. So you can keep Planar Chaos. Every time we cast this spell, we only get 1 flip. So chances are it's 50% chance to get countered. And their chances of keeping the Planar Chaos seems pretty good. There's a good chance they might be practicing for the Battle Bond commanders. You know, they're not currently available on Magic Online, so they just want to get some practice in for when they do become available. And that's a very coin flip heavy deck. You know, one that is gonna stop us from casting spells currently. So let's see what we're gonna do here. We're playing into the Planar Chaos, and we'll look over to the chat window and see what happens, if the Arena Rector is going to resolve or not, and allow them to get a Planeswalker of their choice when it dies. So works really well with Alesha, because it goes into the graveyard, dies, get a Planeswalker, bring it back. And it looks like they won the flip, and it resolves. So good for them. Good to keep their creature. Let's see if we have such luck during our turn. I don't think casting Gishath is the right move just yet. Take 2 damage, for sure. And probably from there, we're going to just cast a Polyraptor, maybe a little bit safer. Having to recast our commander doesn't feel good. Here comes an Opt. They won the flip, so that makes me more and more weary of when we're gonna cast our spell. If Moto is gonna shine upon us and be our friend or whatever else it can do. All I know is that it's gonna be difficult to cast spells for a long period of time, but it seems like everyone's just casting into it and hoping for the best. There goes a 4C, so paid 4 mana to, you know, not resolve the Scry 4 draw 2. Okay, Sylvan Library's triggering. We're going to draw some cards. And what do we got? Forerunner, Prey Upon. We're just going to put that back on top. We took 2 damage. We could take more. I'd really like to have some more card advantage, especially if I'm going to be losing my cards from like casting them. So I think I will pay 4 life to keep 1 in hand. And we're just going to throw down a Cinderglade and count our mana, which is 8 for this Polyraptor. If that resolves, we're in a pretty good position to make more copies with our Savage Punch and Forerunner coming up. If it doesn't resolve, then we feel bad. So let's go ahead and attempt to resolve our first spell. It's a big one. Tails never fails. Heads, lost the flip. So it does fail. I've been lied to. That was our big one hitter. So let's see if they get to keep this counter spells card. I think we made the right choice casting it. You know, if it resolved, it would have given me opportunities to remove my opponent's creatures and make a ton of Polyraptors and be able to fight through this planar chaos successfully. But you don't win all the flips; you win none. So looks like they do get to keep the planar chaos. Flipped a ton of tails, and oh, it looks like it works for all players. So even their own spells, but with the Crack's Thumb, chances of their cards resolving are pretty good. So with all these flips, they got to keep their card, and now they get to suspend something, which is in exile. It's a Gate to the Ether, so just some more chaos. You'll see that a lot with Izzet. I feel like that's the best color combination for a chaos type play style, that or just mono red. You know, there are a lot of good chaos cards in mono red. Ooh, and we're getting a Diabolic Intent. So whether the intent resolves or not, the ability of Arena Rector is still going off. And so they're going to be able to search for a Planeswalker. Hopefully something to deal with this planar chaos, but I'm not sure in what colors you can remove it. Looks like they're just going to go for some card advantage. So I'm not sure what other Planeswalkers they're playing, but that's a good choice too. Just kind of sit back and gain the card advantage, maybe destroy some creatures in the meantime if they so choose. And it looks like they won the flip, so they're going to get to sacrifice a creature, or they sacrifice a creature. They're going to get to tutor something up. So during our next turn, our options are pretty limited. We might take more damage from the Pawn of Ulamog. We're kind of the only open attacks, but we'll see how it goes. I am in hopes that we will not take damage and we will win some coin flips and be able to get some attacks in with the Gishath. Boros Garrison for our opponent. So gonna bounce a land back to their hand and get back to a full 7 with some nice card draw going and pass the turn. And that'll leave things off to our Atagatog opponent to play some more islands, probably. It looks like they're just playing a ton of islands. We're going to leave the Gate to the Ether open, so looks like they're playing some kind of... I'd like to say it's Storm, just because the scrying and all the islands, you know, it might be a high tide coming in, possibly. It's tricky. I don't know who they're trying to trick, but not us. Sylvan Library going off. So all these cards are going into our hand, or top of library. We're just going to keep this on top, keep Prey Upon on top. Do we want to put Needletooth Raptor on top? I believe so. I'm thinking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Man. Could have it fight something, deal some damage to an opponent, you know, if it resolves. Otherwise, putting it on top of the library, I mean, I could deal 5 damage, and that's about it with it. It doesn't seem very good currently, so let's put it on top, and let's play the old spin the wheel. We can't just sit here and do nothing, so pay 8 mana, cast Gishath, and have the Planar Chaos resolve. Stick with our tails. Didn't work out last time, but I know if I choose the other one, I mean, it's not going to work. If I choose tails, it's not going to work. Heads lost the flip. So there it is. Gishath back into the command zone. Past the turn. Yep, it is doing its work. I am 0 for 2. We're just going to keep a tally in chat, you know? Keep things going, see if how many times we can lose the flip. So Time Bug can bring the Jhoira's Familiar down. Sorry, the Gate to the Aether. And that'll let the chaos continue. What are we doing? Do we have some removal? I mean, it might not resolve. Down with the crack. Yeah, that would be good. So, 4 flips. 1 the flip. They get to keep it. Is that flipped 1 heads, flipped 1 tails? That's a lot of flips. If you would flip a coin, flip 2 coins instead and ignore 1. Yes, that's 4 flips. Beginning of your upkeep, flip a coin. If you lose the flip, sacrifice Planar Chaos. That should be 2 flips. Either way, they won the flip. So we'll just keep things going. Keep trying to make our way with Gishath. We draw another land. We're playing it again. Our hand is currently a little lacking without the Polyraptor or Gishath on board, so it's I could Forerunner something onto the top of my library, maybe, but usually I want to do that after I have my commander on board. That way I can, you know, have their abilities work in synchronicity. Let's see what else we got here from our opponent. We'll just keep playing through the Planar Chaos. Phyrexian Arena. I think they're willing to gamble with that card. And it's countered. Lost the flip. I don't know where that leads us. But can't be good. What else do we have going on? They could play their commander, play Alesha, save it for next turn. Do we want to throw down Alesha? Chaos causing chaos. Keep the chaos going with things. So maybe a second main phase Alesha, or just pass the turn, leave some mana open. Maybe some cheeky enchantment removal. Or Alesha. Or something in their hand, because they have 7 cards. Zulaport Cutthroat. That's not your commander. It's also a good card though with the Pawn of Ulamog and winning the flip, so feels good. You get to keep the Zulaport Cutthroat but lose the Oh man. What else we got? Nothing. Just gonna pass the turn, or keep the Gate to the Aether ticking down. Keep the. I'm still trying to figure out what this Atagatog player is playing. Besides islands, you know. In the entire deck. So when the video stream is complete, we're planning on uploading it to YouTube as is, I believe. I might make some editing choices to it. Probably not. Just leave up our year stream. So if you're watching this on YouTube, ignore what I'm saying and just keep watching the game. Okay, we drew into something. Gonna put the 2 cards back on top, and then we're going to spin the wheel. We've lost 2 flips thus far. You know, going tails 2 times in a row. Let's see if it fails us a 3rd time. Answer? Maybe. And we lost the flip. So we are 0 for 3. All right. Hello, crazy gamer. Thanks for joining. Glad to have you. I'm 0 for 3 on coin flips currently, and gonna go 0 for 4. So let's keep going. I gotta play something. So just gonna play something a little more tame. Throw down our 2-5. Yeah, glad to be here. Glad to be streaming for. Oh man, I should choose heads. The second I choose heads, though, we're just gonna 0 for 4 and tap out. But yeah, thanks for being here. Thanks for being a part of the stream, and watch us lose with Gishath Son's Avatar dinosaurs. So I've currently cast it once, hasn't resolved. Polyraptor didn't resolve. Thrashing Brontodon, our only source of removal for this planar chaos currently, didn't resolve. And then we got just a 2/5 dinosaur, didn't resolve either. So isn't looking good currently, but I'm going through it. I'm trying to get things to go a bit quicker, and we'll see what happens with this. All these coin flips. I'm pretty sure they're gonna resolve the planar chaos coin flip shenanigans. All right, dictate a crew fix. If this resolves, that gets us some card draw going. But tails never. Exactly. That's what I've been saying. Tails never fails, and yet we have shown that the odds are 0-4 for tails, and I'm not giving up. I'm keeping the tails. What's going to happen though here in a minute, depending on what Jhoira wants to do, is that 2 turns from now, the Obnixilis is going to be able to ultimate and give them an emblem, and I don't know if that's going to help them, if that's going to give them what they need to win or lose the game. So Gate to the Aetherlife, it's coming down, it's resolving, right? If they want to put the time bug trigger on the stack, it could resolve this turn. Maybe Moto is using a loaded coin. Well, yeah, I mean, you've heard of the top of deck bug on Moto. When you scry to the bottom, it goes to the top. It could be the same for a coin. Everyone else's coin flips have been okay. Not one way or the other, but we're doing what we can. So here's the Gate to the Aether. It's going to cause, at the beginning of each player's upkeep, they're going to reveal a top card of their library. If it's an artifact, creature, enchantment, or land, they may put it onto the battlefield. So that'll help us out, because we've kind of stacked the deck to where we've got our dinosaur on top. So that's something. We'll get a nice dinosaur. But let's see if the Gate to the Aether actually resolves. That's the first question. They get extra coin flips, and wow, there it goes. It did not resolve. Interesting. That would have put them in a pretty good position, but the fact that it didn't resolve actually helps us out, helps the rest of us out. Or are we shuffling everything? Are we starting over? Is that what's happening right now? We're gonna start the game over, essentially. Okay, I'll time reversal. I will shuffle my hand back in. Keep the Sylvan Library, though. Are we gonna try and counter it? That's a Swan Song. Let's see if the Swan Song resolves. And they won the flip, so they like the cards in their hand. And they're going to get a Swan. So I would have been okay with the gate to the Aether. Would have put me in a pretty decent position with being able to stack my deck with dinosaurs. That's just kind of how this deck functions. I had a Sylvan Library for it, a Forerunner of the Emperor in case I drew up dead. But now we just got to keep fighting through that planar chaos as is. See what's on top and hopefully drop a land to try and recast Gishath and attack in with a just a 0-1 plant over there. We're going to get some extra card draw with the Dictate anyway, so there's a good chance. We may have to attack straight across, though, and lose out on some triggers if it does resolve, because that Ob Nixilis should not be allowed to ultimate. I mean, it can. I'm okay with it if it doesn't choose me, you know, which at the current board state it might not. There's a Shriekmaw evoked. What are we evoking to destroy? Probably Jhoira. Maybe Time Bug. Let's see if it resolves. And won the flip. That's an evoked Shriekmaw. Are we destroying the plant token? Was that the Snake Eats Bird? Oh, he's gonna kill the bird, so that way he can get the ultimate off next turn. I like it. Or choose Jhoira. Also a valid target. So that's going to cause some triggers to stack. Ponavulamog, Zulaport Cutthroat, coming in. Making another token. Dealing damage to everyone, gaining a life. And yeah, I'm honestly surprised they didn't kill the bird now that I think about it, because they want to, maybe they just want to keep plussing Ob Nixilis. Maybe they don't care too much about the ultimate as of yet. Maybe he won't attack with the bird. That Swan is going to get Voltroned now. Do they have equipment in this Chaos Permanence deck? I'm sure it's playing Warp World and other permanents, but are they playing equipment? Or blue enchantments? I mean, the blue-red commander is the most dangerous thing on the board. Yes, it is the most dangerous thing on the board, for sure. But with 3 cards in hand, I also believe that the keeping Ob Nixilis at an ultimate level and being able to cause them to lose 4 life a turn would be good as well. But we have no way of resolving spells, so I can also see that happening. Could go either way. All I know is I want to resolve my commander. That's first and foremost. And we're just going up against this mono blue Atagatog player. So they were really hiding their strategy still. We're like 7 or 8 turns in, and I'm still trying to figure out what they're doing besides playing mono blue. Ooh, Howling Mine. Now, I still agree with the Ob Nixilis of well, Howling Mine doesn't resolve, so... Pew. Let's see. So we're gonna draw 4 cards. I'm gonna stack, it's always yield. So Dictate's gonna go first. We're drawn into that Prey Upon. And that'll let us put some cards back on top. Elemental Bond. We're gonna put the Prey Upon back on top of the library. We're also going to keep the Needletooth on the top of the library and then draw as is, play a Mountain Valley. So we did get the land we were looking for, but it isn't an untapped land. So the only thing I want to resolve here is this Elemental Bond. It's not anything great based on what we have in hand, but the following turn comes and we get to resolve our commander. It'll be good. And we lost the flip again. So keep the score going. 0 for 5. I'm keeping track. And with nothing else, do we want to play Forerunner? I don't think I want to put anything on top. I don't think I want to put anything on top right now, because I just want to shuffle it away with Mountain Valley anyway. And again, I would like to get my commander down first, so I don't want to use all my resources just yet. So we're just going to tap out, put a stop on our upkeep. So stop on my turn. And leave it at that. So F8 through everything, sit back and see what happens. Have some conversations. Talk more about what's going on with the channel. So we should have a Multiverses out coming soon. I'm finishing up some of the editing this week. I'm also doing a collaboration on Friday, playing some Brawl with another channel, Cheshire Plays Games. So it's going to be my first time playing Brawl. I've put together a few decks for this game. I don't know who the other players are, but it should be on his channel coming out later. I've put together a Huatli, Selesnya, draw cards, play creature for value deck. And I've also put together a Nicol, the God Pharaoh, so just very like Grixis, stop you from casting spells type deck. And the final deck I built was with the new Karn, just plain artifacts. So I'm playing like every artifact and artifact creature that I could get my hands on, and really just, you know, keeping things going with that. So that should be fun, and then hopefully we'll get the new Multiverses out sooner or later. And I'm also finishing up a play pod as well. Currently we're waiting to film the next Singleton Showdown. We may or may not have a roster change coming in sooner rather than later. We're going to try and change things up a little bit going forward with our gameplay videos once we get into the next season of Multiverses. I'd like to make it a little bit more of a, you know, keeping track of the points will be more on the audience rather than something we put and remind people in front of each gameplay, because there's such a basic, you know, killing all your opponents in a single turn, killing your opponents before turn 5, and then getting points for player elimination. That's something we can put as sort of a disclaimer in the text and keep that there rather than putting it in front of the video each week and reminding everyone. So that'll just be something for the audience if you guys want to keep track of. We also are keeping track of it as we go through. Currently, as it stands now, I'm in the lead for points. And it'll just kind of go from there to see how the points come for the next season. And PlayPod is just going to keep being some of our fellow content creators. We're going to keep trying to get Orzo and Magical Hacker on, as well as Kitchen Table Commander. He'll be stopping by anytime he's available. You know, we'll just keep the gameplay content coming, because that's what we like to do. As you can see by this by our Commander gameplay here, you know, me playing for our anniversary, it's all about playing Commander. We like to play Commander here at Commander 99, as well as do some deck techs. I know Reed is working on something that's a little interesting, to say the least. A little unusual for the channel, but it's his first solo project, so we'll see how it goes. The other ones are our other gameplay deck tech series with the Commander 2018 product. You know, that was a collaborative work between me and him, putting those scripts together and getting all the cards, deck upgrades built as well. So that resolved. Sacrifice another creature, gains vigilance, lifelink, or haste. So he's giving it haste and vigilance. So he sacrificed 2 creatures to drain us down a bit and give it haste and vigilance till the end of turn. And it has flying, so Obnixilis lost a point, but hopefully they can use it as a blocker to get back up to 8 and just kind of keep things as it is, you know. Keep things going, getting in for some damage and having some fun with it. More card draw from the Dictate. Now all instants and sorceries are going to cost 2 less. So I think this blue player is feeling pretty good about that. You know, if they just had some removal, maybe they're waiting to draw some removal for the Planar Chaos, and you know, that's when they storm off with their with their mono blue deck. Mono blue tokens? You are indeed. Yeah. Mono blue tokens? Bribery. Who's getting targeted? Not me. I bet you the Chaos deck has something. Let's see if it resolves first. Then we'll get back to it. That Planar Chaos keeps having things happen and lost the flip, so forget everything. Cards are not allowed to hit the board. It's been on board since turn, what, 3? Keeping things going. Crazy Gamer, I mostly play Commander and 93, 94 these days. Okay. Okay, so we had our stop on our upkeep to Mountain Valley. All part of the plan. Shuffling those cards away, because we want to draw something better with the Sylvan Library. So just grab a Canopy Vista, untapped, and we'll just remove this yield. So it served its purpose. Heading to our draw step, Urza's Incubator, Carnage Tyrant, and 2 other cards. Yes, we will use its ability. We will put Enlightened Tutor on the top of the library, and we're gonna keep the double cleave because I want to fill my hand up a little bit, and I also want to resolve something. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 mana. If we cast our commander, it puts us, and resolves, very important. That'll put us in a very good position to get at least one of these, I would believe, one of these double strike. Yes, there's a card here, Planar Chaos, that's countering a spell if you lose the coin flip. And so the way that they're trying to play is that they're trying to win the coin flips by using the Crack's Thumb and keeping things going with that. So if Gishath doesn't resolve, next turn at the very least, we got a Carnage Tyrant and a Nurse's Incubator, that we can attempt to resolve. So Gishath's coming back. We're what, 0 for 6 or 0 for 5? Did I lose track? It's been like a year since it was our turn. 0 for 5. So still going for tails. I won the flip. All right, here we go. Now we can play some Magic. Let's see if it resolves, though, because a counterspell might come down. Yes, Carnage Tyrant can't be countered. That's right. So I could play Carnage Tyrant. We'll be doing that next turn. Don't worry. But we got lucky with the Gishath. That's resolving. And Ob-Nixilis can now destroy our commander if they so choose, but I have to attack a player in order to get my ability. So, I mean, losing Gishath would be bad, but also gaining some dinosaurs would be good. So if I don't attack them, they might be more willing to let it stick around, which would be nice. So we're just going to attack towards the Atagatog player because he's only got no one plant and plenty of mana open. And hope that he loses the flip. Lost the flip. Keeping the attack going. All right. Oh, and just keeping track, we are 1 for 6. Keeping things going. All right. Didn't have quite the time to stack our deck like we did last time to put any dinosaurs on top, but we get one and it puts it onto the battlefield, which isn't bad. Bellowing Aegisaur is going to allow us to, when it's dealt damage, I can put a +1/+1 counter on each other creature I control, so we could power up the Gishath if our opponent does not destroy it with their Ob-Nixilis during their next turn. Either way, we're going to try and keep things going. So let's see if they get to keep the Planar Chaos. Oh, okay. It is gone. Several turns later, we have finally lost the counter everything card. So that's good news for the table. Not so much for us and our dinosaur. But, you know, if we do get to take our turn and keep at least one of these with our Gishath, that could result in a lot of dinosaurs coming down. But now that cards are not being countered, we'll see how this game plays out. Now have 6 cards in hand, which is good. Back up to a healthy hand size losing out on five counterable spells. And let's see what... when a player casts an instant or sorcery, exile it. Then that player copies each instant or sorcery exiled without a storm for each copy that player may cast without paying its mana cost. And so each instant and sorcery is going to continually grow and add to the stack of things that are being removed from the game, and so it'll eventually cause a stack of 5 to 10 instant or sorceries and cause things to, well, get chaotic, because that's what they're doing. If you haven't noticed by now, they're playing the chaos. AKA Storm on easy mode. Yes, crazy gamer. It's 7 mana auto storm. Much different than say an Omniscience where you storm by yourself. This gets everybody to storming, and I'm sure I'm just waiting for the Atagatog player to now, win the game. They've been waiting this entire time. So, as expected, Ob Nixilis ticking down, destroying our commander. So it's going to cost us a lot more mana, bring it up to a 12 for its next cast, and we only have 10. Urza's Incubator will be played next turn, so we'll be able to bring its casting cost down a bit, so that we can cast it the following turn. But as it's looking so far, it doesn't look like it's coming back. I have Savage Punch, which we can use on the Butcher, if we so choose. Just so we can get in and attack towards Ob Nixilis during the following turn. I want to get it off the board so it can stop removing all our creatures. Because that'll go in conjunction with the Carnage Tyrant, and the 3 of those will kind of play at our turn. So we'll just kind of throw down an Urza's Incubator, play a Carnage Tyrant, and throw down a Savage Punch onto the Butcher. And so that'll keep things going. And that'll pretty much be our turn unless we draw anything relevant. For our turn. But we have a total of three draws that we can look at. Keep our library going. I don't know, we'll see how it goes. And we're also drawing an extra card from Dictate. That's still going. So anything can happen. During their main phase, they've got 8 mana. Playing a land after generating 3 mana. If only I had my Possibility Storm. Yes, I'm sure we would all feel great if you had your Possibility Storm, Jhoira player. Like, we would all be in such a good mood. That's a Shackles. So, at any time you can take control of a creature with less power equal to the number of islands you control. So currently that's 7 for them. So you can take a creature with power of 7, and then when it either when the creature dies or they can choose to give it back, they'll take control of a creature or give it back at any point during their upkeep and take a new creature. All right, long-term plans. So that's going to get exiled with the Eye of the Storm, and then they're going to copy it. So if we cast our Psychotic Fury or our Double Cleave, we'll be able to deal with that. So yes, he is blue control. He's just playing blue control under the pseudonym of the Atagatog. So it was a front for a mono blue deck with a with a plant token and some other creature lands. Well, I don't think we're going to cast either of these during our turn. There's just no reason to play long-term plans currently. Just play a single creature with our Carnage Tyrant. Can't be targeted by a Nixilis. Gonna draw some more. That's a pretty interesting draw. I don't know if I'm gonna use it right now, but the Waking Sun's avatar is gonna go to our hand, and we'll have a one-sided board wipe for later if we so choose. And yes, yeah, I guess that's true. We could decide what tutor something up, but I kind of want to save my double strike for when I can get my commander back out. But I do like the idea of being able to do that at any time, so that's good. That's good. Maybe if we get Gishath down, we could do that in response. I think the plan is to just put a land back on top and put Herald's Horn back on top. Keep the other two. So we'll play a land tapped, since we definitely have more than 2 lands, and throw down a Urza's Incubator. Still going with the same plan. And now we can Savage Punch and then have it get exiled. I think I'm going to choose Dinosaur. I think that's the right choice in this moment. So we could Savage Punch and have it get exiled with Eye of the Storm, and then everyone gets to fight something every turn. If we so choose. I really wanted to get rid of the Ob Nixilis, though, so I mean, I doubt they're gonna just kill our Bellowing Aegisaur, but they're gonna gain so much value from that, so I don't know. It's a decision. For the time being, Carnage Tyrant's coming down. Can't be countered by the uncounterable spell. There it is. And we could throw down a Savage Punch towards the Butcher. And that'll allow everyone to use Savage Punch as long as the Eye of the Storm is on board. And then we get to long-term plans if we so choose. I kind of want to shuffle those cards away, so maybe it might be a good idea to do this and just kind of let the board fight it out. So we are going to give our creature +2/+2 and have it fight this demon. Get Savage Punch exiled. Since our Carnage Tyrant can't be targeted anyway, and if they do target our... So we're going to keep things going the same, and then cast long-term plans to search up a dino and put it third from the top. So, probably just going to grab a dinosaur. Seems like the best option here. Which one? A lot of things die to maybe forcing people to sacrifice permanents might be a good thing this late in the game. You know, they either lose lands or they lose some of their big permanents, especially if we wanted to board wipe. Sure, why not? And Savage Punch is going to be killing a bunch of creatures soon, so... See if this thing resolves, and we'll play it out. Yep, so Aegisaur gets a +2/+2. Their abilities are going to trigger. my creatures are going to get, or my Carnage Tyrant's going to get a +1/+1 counter. And then if everyone wants to fight every turn, they are more than welcome to. Because they can either fight each other or just continue to power up my Carnage Tyrant in the meantime. But yeah, if I can destroy their creatures and then get down my other dino, I don't think I'm gonna give anything double strike. There's no reason to really get in without any kind of trample or anything like that. There's no reason to. So it's a 5. It can only take 1 damage currently. So if I attack across, it's dead anyway. And there might be no blocks from the Shackles player. He just might try and Shackles it away. So maybe we just force the narrative, force them to Shackles. Or do we just attack towards the Ob Nixilis and see if they want to lose their creatures? Yeah, let's just do it. Either way, Carnage Tyrant's going to get its +1/+1 counters, so I'm okay with that. Losing it isn't going to be great, but chances are it might die eventually anyway. We'll see how they want to block up. Yeah, it looks like they're just passing priority and letting Ob Nixilis die, so... Oh no, sorry, they're passing for attacks, so... They are blocking. Put our Carnage Tyrant up to a 9. That's okay. Like I said, I think that'll put us in a good position. They'll get their token, and they won't get a bunch of tokens afterwards anyway, so... The bird will get in, hopefully, towards the Ob Nixilis now as well, and not bring it into removal area. And then we'll start seeing some instants and sorceries coming down to continue this chaotic game. Whew. Down to 24. Got to keep an eye on our life total. We're getting a little low, but I'll keep paying in the Sylvan Library if it keeps getting me card advantage. I also have my tricks up my sleeve for some double strike. So passing all the priority up to a 9/8. Can't be the target of spellers or abilities. So if anyone has a board wipe, I don't know if now's the time for me to board wipe either, really. I feel like this Waking Sun's avatar isn't going to do me much good currently. And we're just shy of recasting our commander again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We're just... Oh no, we've got enough. Urza's Incubator reduces the cost. Of course. So we can recast Gishath if we so choose during our next turn. Because it costs 12. Alright. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player reveals a random card from their hand. If it's a land, that player puts it on the battlefield. Otherwise, they can cast it without paying its mana cost. Interesting. So keeping the chaos game going. I like it. And their trigger is going to resolve before our Sylvan Library, so it's going to be one of these 4 cards that are going to be cast during my turn. So if it forces me to cast Psychotic Fury, I'm not going to be able to target my creature. I'd have to give something else, you know, the double strike, and there's nothing currently on board that can do so. But you know, if it hits one of the other cards, I'd be feeling pretty good. You know, Forerunner doesn't feel great to shuffle away my long-term plan, but, you know, Double Cleave, 18 damage, not bad. And Waking Suns will be a nice board wipe. So we'll see how it goes. It's during everybody's upkeep, so the whole game could change by the time it gets back to my turn anyway. I've got got a ways to go with all these abilities and all these triggers going off. So here's the wild evocation. Upkeep trigger. Either they're going to put a land on the battlefield or cast their Swords to Plowshare on a creature of their choice. Is it a you may cast it? It's not a may, so they have to Swords to Plowshare something, which is going to go on under the Eye of the Storm and allow them to fight something as well as exile something, and then during our turn we're going to be able to fight something and exile something and long-term plan something away again, so we can keep things going, keep things pretty chaotic. All three of these cards are going to resolve, and their Zulaport Cutthroat could fight the plant token, get rid of the plant token if they so choose. It has no power, so and yeah, Swords to Plowshare the bird away again. So just have to re-choose your target with that. And what did we Savage Beating? Did we decline it? Chose not to cast the spell? I mean, that's okay too. That's an option. So, yeah, if we're forced to cast our Double Cleave or Psychotic Fury, I'm not, like, any of these cards in our hand, besides maybe the Forerunner, seem like really good in this position. I mean, we can clear the board with Forerunner. It's going to deal 1 damage to each creature, so that's not bad. Waking Sun's Avatar will also clear the board because it's a board wipe, and then two double strike spells. Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about where we're at, and hopefully we can finally kill that Ob Nixilis and get it off the board and, you know, start getting some damage in, getting some attacks in with our creatures. I think we may have to send them towards the Chaos player, just kind of get things a little bit more back to normal, because the other two players, you know, they have some cards in hand, but they don't really have too much currently on board, and I just want to speed the game up a little bit, you know, get things more in our favor. And so having chaos happen all the time, it might not be the best situation for us. All right, looks like they're sacrificing their Eldrazi Scions to play a Nim Deathmantle. That'll let them return a creature from a graveyard when it dies, so you may not be able to see it, but it's an Ashnod's Altar that it's back, hidden behind. So 4 mana to equip the Deathmantle, 4 mana to return a creature to the battlefield, and if they had that Pawn of Ulamog, they could probably produce a lot of mana. Well, they're gonna produce a lot of mana, but they could produce even more mana than they are currently, and almost go infinite tokens. But hopefully one of these two will get cast during our turn, and we'll be okay. But in the meantime, they're going to make some serfs. Ashnod's Altars, they can sacrifice them away if they so choose. Zulaport Cutthroat's ability is going to trigger for each activation, so we're going to lose life anytime a creature dies. They've added 4 mana to their mana pool, and they can sacrifice the Aristocrat, so I believe they win, because they're going to produce enough mana with the Nim Deathmantle. Yep, sacrifice the Autocrat, and that's good game. Oh, unless they shackles away the Zulaport Cutthroat. Sacrificing it in response, or not. So, or not. Maybe not game. Sacrificing the shackles in sacrificing the Zulaport Cutthroat in response will bring it back to the battlefield, but it won't cause them to win the game or not. yes, they do make infinite dudes and infinite mana, Crazy Gamer, but now that he's taken the Cutthroat, it's going to prevent him from infinite life, or infinite life loss. So that would have been game had they so continued this combo. So we avoided death, but we did not avoid infinite mana. So I'm tapped out. We'll see how it goes. See how deep they want to go with this combo. Either way, we need to cast one of the 4 spells in our hand during our turn to hopefully not lose. That's all I'm hoping for. Infinite tokens won't mean anything through a board wipe. Infinite mana is what we should be worried about. Sidisi is what we should be worried about. If they have a they have a single white mana, so they could, I'm trying to think what they could cast here that would necessarily like win them the game, but we'll see what they go for. Oh, I'm sorry, they have 3 white mana. So it could be any number of things. Either way, Waking Sun's Avatar and Forerunner are looking pretty good right about now. Feeling pretty good about those in my current hand. And one of them will get cast, possibly with the Wild Ricochet. Or Evocation. Sorry. Either way, this game is winding down soon. Something is going to happen. So, played Sidisi. Oh, you know what? They can also tutor as many times as they want. And there it is. That's the Blood Artist. Yep, they grabbed the Blood Artist, so unless this single island does anything. Complicate caused everything to trigger again. I think he might have actually wanted to wait on that. Unless he wants to Swords to Plowshare the Autocrat, but then he's just gonna sacrifice it on the stack. So I don't know if that quite does it. It might have been better to wait for the Blood Artist to resolve, but the Blood Artist needs to resolve, and you can't counter what they do. So let's see what they do. They're gonna sacrifice their creatures and then probably sacrifice the Autocrat to its own ability to avoid the Swords to Plowshare and keep things going. So that's how they avoid it. So it's still a good game because all the lands are tapped. It may not look like it, but let's see if we can just pull things over to see the board. They are indeed tapped out. So yeah, the Blood Artist is going to trigger, and oh, are they not? He produced another blue mana. You should really let the Blood Artist resolve first. And I'm pretty sure the Swords to Plowshare isn't going to resolve. We'll just let it go. Let it play out. Anything else? Yes, he Cyclonic Rifting. Is he gonna rift the altar? I can't see your mana, sir. Oh, man. So, Cyclonic Rift, I guess the way he stacked it, he's still going to be able to produce infinite tokens. I can deal with the tokens if... Okay, so he just sacrificed it again. I would have stacked the triggers a little bit differently to Rift the Ashnod's Altar, then Swords to Plowshare his guy. That way the Rift would resolve first, but he'd still be able to make infinite tokens. So you should have stacked the triggers. Rift resolve first. So I'm just reading what they're saying as well and not spelling. On the mantle or altar. Then swords something. I guess he could just continue the combo. Well, what did we rift? We rift the Nim Death Mantle? You right. I think. If he lets the Nimbit Death Mantle go back to his hand, though... Oh, he just recasts it. There's just so many triggers on the stack and so many interactions with just a couple cards. So, I guess who wants to scoop first? Need to stifle the mantle effect. Yes, that's true. Yeah, because he can just recast the mantle. Or recast the altar. And then he's got enough mana to keep doing what he's doing. So there's no way to stop the combo. Because he makes a warrior token, Blood Artist resolves, he casts the mantle, he's still got 11 mana. Alright, he scooped, we scoop. Okay, so with that game done, we are going to try and play a quick game with Kopala. Hopefully not nearly as long as that last one. And that'll be the end of the night. So just bear with me for a moment while I take a minute to gather my cards. And I'll see you guys in a sec. Yeah, that combo was crazy. It was something else. Yeah, Angus Mackenzie, that's another crazy commander. That game was something else playing against that. Let's see what else. Let's go ahead and get the rest of our cards and then we're good to go. A 6.5 hour game with Angus McKenzie. That's insane. And our opponents keep waiting for us to respond to a game left. The game ended. We lost. Let's see if we can go back real quick. So the combo's still playing out, in case you're wondering how this is going to go down. 25 mana, 3 life. And that's pretty much it. His plan is to drain us both infinitely. It's going to be a bit quicker for me. As I am down to 2 life. Blood Artist, infinitely triggering with the Nim Death Mantle, Ashnod's Altar combo. So we're dead.